Welcome to Trading Nation. Pleased, as always, to be joined once again by Byron Wien. He is Vice Chairman of Blackstone's Private Wealth Solutions Group. Byron, welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
As we record this, the Dow may end with the first down day of the year. But either way, it is still the best start to the year, going back to Reagan. We've had all these stats like, this is 16 times we've gained 5% or more in the first, or 2% in the first 5 days of the year. All 16 or 15, we have ended higher. A lot of historical precedent that says this will be a good year. Are you still a big believer in this market?
I would say I very much am a big believer. I think sentiment is bordering on the euphoric state, and when investors don't think they can get into trouble, they usually do. So I think we're vulnerable to a correction, but I view that as just a correction, not the beginning of a bear market. I think the year will end higher than it started, no matter what happens along the way.
And what's amazing, Byron, is that if you look into those 15 prior years, this would be the 16th, where we gained 2% in the first 5 days of the year and ended with an average gain of 18%. So it's always signaled a good year. There was, in most of those years, a pretty big drop. One of those years was 1987. Do you expect, or would you even welcome, some kind of a correction, 10% or more drop sometime this year?
Well, I definitely expect it. Welcome is a difficult word. I think the market needs to have some kind of correction. There are some excesses in it, and so I fully expect it to happen. But as I said earlier, I do expect the year to end higher than it started.
What are the biggest excesses that you see that you're referring to?
Well, the excesses are things like Bitcoin, the euphoric nature of individual investors, although that's tempered by the fact that there's some data on money outflows out of equities. But generally, we're pushing valuations up, and I also expect the fundamentals to change. While the economy is likely to do well with better than 3% growth, I think we'll see inflation and interest rates rising, and that's not generally good news for stocks.
Do you think that Bitcoin, and I know, Byron, listen, we got to talk about it because everybody else is. Do you think Bitcoin, listen, Bitcoin could go to 100,000 or it could crash? I have no idea. But if it were to go down significantly, is it in any way systemic? In other words, would it impact equities, or do you believe it literally is just its own thing?
I think it's its own thing. It may be attracting some speculative interest on the part of equity investors, but Bitcoin, I think, is a magnet for speculators, and people are willing to take very high risk for very high gains, but also very high chance of losing money. So I think Bitcoin is likely to have a pretty severe correction somewhere along the line.
Yeah, it's funny too, Byron, because I'm sure you remember this. I mean, back in the 90s, late 90s, if you questioned anything about the internet, now we know it as a bubble, people had the same rationale. You're old, you don't understand. I probably said that to people once myself. Now I am old, and you hear the same comments. When people can't defend something, they go back to, well, you just don't get it.
No, look, I've been a dinosaur for a long time, and so I've gone through several cycles of that criticism.
Let's end on a positive note. A lot of things are up, but the optimism is still there. Okay, the charts look good, a lot of bullish commentary, but the whole world is up. To Blackstone's Private Wealth Group, you're the vice chairman of it. What are one or two things that look really still attractive to you guys right now? How do we make some money in 2018?
I think we move offshore. I think India is still attractive. I think Japan is still attractive. So I think overseas markets are attractive. I think the bond market is unattractive. I think energy is attractive. I think the price of oil will be going up. So I think there are plenty of ways to make money.
So you think that the U.S. market could still go higher, but other stuff just simply looks better? You're not negative U.S.
Absolutely.
You just feel like India, Japan, some other emerging markets look better.
And energy, yes.
And energy. All right, Byron Wien, Vice Chairman of Blackstone Private Wealth Management. Always a pleasure, Byron, to get your views. Thank you so much.
Look forward to talking to you soon again.
I hope so, sir. Thank you very much. And folks, thank you for tuning in to Trading Nation.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.